Are you ready to start the stream? I think we are. We got a new beginning. Let's see here. Excellent connection.
Tony Caravan.
You've been subjected to a highly sophisticated form of propaganda.
It's just what you need, and not what you don't. Quality, quantity, and variety.
Rock Flux.
Really funny. Really funny.
Yeah, you're really funny.
Good morning.
Good morning, folks. And welcome to another edition of Tony Caravan Live. Live from an undisclosed location, as they say. I am drinking water today from the morning show mug, which is getting some glare on it for some reason. I don't know why. Had a fairly good night's sleep. It's weird drinking water. I got to take a blood test today at 9 o'clock. It's currently 6:14 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the former United States. And like I say, I'm located somewhere down in the, not down in, somewhere along the northern Appalachian mountain range in the mid-Atlantic states. Where is it? Where is it? And like I always say, some people think they know where I am. I'm not. I used to live where you think I am. I'm not there anymore. This is a new environ that I've set up. And I'm also broadcasting from the 1960s because I just found that to be a better year. And so did my sidekick.
Okay.
Yeah. And she's not my sidekick. Yeah. But, yesterday was National Bikini Day, and, I just can't, I think it's going to be hard to get rid of her, I just find it hard to get rid of her. So I think we're going to keep her around today, on and off. Our stream seems excellent right now. I'm wearing a bandana just for the heck of it. I also happen to have one of my You Don't Know What You Don't Know t-shirts on. I looked at the overnight stats. Nobody bought anything, as usual. Though I did see that I am getting a slight royalty check. So that's always a good thing. For music. No thanks to you folks, though. Be that as it may, this room is, I had the air conditioner on for a little while. This room is hot. And so when you're muscle bound, I'm going to have to fold up the sleeves a bit just to give me a little bit of a Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Garbage truck. They're actually out there. Oh, man. I can't believe it. It was July. Wasn't Monday considered? So now I got like 2 weeks worth of garbage. I don't believe that happened. There's always something. The garbage truck just came. That means I'm stuck with like garbage. I don't even know where to put it. It's going to be like 90 degrees, like the next day or two. I mean, my porch is hotter than hell. It's got no circulation. They usually skip. When there's a holiday, they usually skip. Today's starting off really, really well. Yesterday, my neighbor was actually burning garbage. My next door neighbor was burning garbage. I mean, like I say, there are people who suffer from mental illness that need to be, you know, cared for, and you need to have empathy for and concern and all of that, and treated the best they can be. And then there are psychos, and this woman is a psychopath. Her idea of burning garbage is to take like a poison, garbage bag, black plastic garbage bags, and what they make those things out of. And inside that bag, of course, polystyrene things, packaging things, who knows what, and throw that in there. And I also saw that she was throwing in like this particle board, these cheap ass put together your own little nightstand type of things taken apart. Those things have like formaldehyde and all that crap in it. And I was out there and I noticed she ruined my Sunday. I was out there trying to get some sun, not Sunday the day, but my day of getting sun. Came in, I blew my nose and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Even though I have an excellent connection, I'm getting some kind of freeze up right now. I don't know why. Doesn't make sense. Could be because I have the iPhone there, and I see in the playback it's happening too. What's going on? Well, I guess we're going to turn off the iPhone and see if that's the problem. Or if it's just the fact that it's really too hot in here for my processor. I just missed the garbage man. All right, let's try that again. YouTube is not receiving enough. Oh, great. Thank you.
Channel deck. Left channel. Left channel.
CPU usage. I'm broadcasting 4.17 frames per second. I turned the iPhone completely off, so that can't possibly it. My CPU usage is up to 26. Uh, 37. 47. I'm getting the red. I'm in the red. All right, I'm going to disconnect. I'll be right back. I'm going to turn the air conditioner on and see if that's the problem. That was that quick disconnect working there for me now. I don't know if it's a coincidence, but I have 30 frames per second, though I don't really understand. Let's see. I'm looking at the playback. When did this change? Sorry, this is, this happens.
You're listening to Tony Caravan Live.
Muscle man there. You don't know what you don't know. It seemed to fix itself before I had the iPhone on. So we're going to have to experiment with this live and see if it was the iPhone or not. So please bear with me. I don't know if you can hear the air conditioner in the background or not. I can kind of hear it through my, like coming in from my outside my headphones, because these aren't noise cancellation headphones, so it's loud. And I'm drinking spring water because I'm getting a couple blood tests today, which I said before. And I have the iPhone back on, and we're just going to see if this was a temperature thing or it was just some kind of anomaly. I have no idea. I really don't. I know the cat hightailed it out of here for some reason. CPU usage is going up again. This show's always like this. It's mayhem. A little bit of mayhem. See, what I want to do is I want my CPU usage to be below about 10%. Okay? And YouTube's not receiving enough video to maintain blah, blah, blah. And it's up to about 16, 17, 19, 22, 27. So what I'm doing is I'm imagining that 30, yeah. It's got to be this, not even the air conditioner. So I'm going to turn this off. And let's see if that jumps down. It's gradually going down. All right, folks. It seems that, we're back in this era. Yeah. That's what I have. It's like a dial-up connection. All right. CPU's back down to 8. Means it's not liking me using my peripherals. So that's always fun. That's always fun. That's always fun. Yesterday was National Bikini Day. This one we're going to replace right now. With the title card. Let's look at that title card. And it says, The Morning Show, Money. I have no idea why it came in El Humongo. This was from like I was helping a friend out who had a small business. And I was doing his cash reports. You can see back in February. Like trying to straighten out his register and prepare his deposits while he was out of town. And the register was all the people that worked for him, were just so out of whack and just couldn't use the register. And that's why I wanted to talk about it, because this is a real life experience. And it's anecdotal, but I've talked to other people who have other businesses, and they give me the same story. These guys couldn't balance the register. I mean, this register was over $72 on this day when I was preparing the deposit. These are all the various receipts and stuff. And, sometimes it'd be under, over. I don't know if the guys were stealing. But if they were stealing, you know, maybe they were stealing and that's why they were making it over, so they were doing this. But I don't think they really knew how to use the register is what it really amounted to. And that's really one of the reasons why things are the way they are right now, you know, and why they're not going to get better. And that kind of is the theme of this show, you know, the collapse part. So when you think about it, what do you do when you have an entire generation? I turned that air conditioner on for nothing. So I guess I'll leave it on for a little while. I miss the garbage. And yes, as you can see, I'm drinking water today. I haven't eaten since 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon. All right? And this blood test, by the time the doctor it's a 9 o'clock appointment. By the time the guy gets in the room, he's always like, takes him a half hour. He's like in there babbling with other people. Might be 9:30. So, you know, you say 3, heart attack. I can't even take a Rolaids or a, you know, anything, I don't think. I'm trying to keep it clean. So, I do my own mental math the way I do it, which is kind of nonsensical. I guess it's childlike, but you know. 9 to 9 is 12 hours. 3 to 9 is 6. You add the 6, that's 18 hours, a half hour. 18 and a half hours, you know, basically without eating. Now, when you're on a keto type of diet, you know, I normally go 12 to 15 hours without eating, so it's just an extra 3 hours, 3.5 hours. But that extra 3.5 hours just might, you know, throw me over the edge. You know, I don't want to be passing out, you know, so, I mean, drinking water, I'm hydrating myself at least. I've had problems where I've been faint, so to speak. And that major stressor out there, why would the garbage men come? Wouldn't they set everything back a day? What am I going to do with my garbage? I got critters out in the backyard. I can't put it outside. I don't have one of those hard garbage cans with a lid. I just I have one of those garbage cans in my kitchen. Yeah, I know.
You're listening to Tony Caravan Live.
Just so you understand.
This is a nightmare. Must be a nightmare.
That's what I do when I start the show. I have in my kitchen a garbage can that, you know, you just put your foot down and it lifts up the thing and you throw your garbage in it. And I keep that with a plastic trash bag liner in there, which is actually my garbage bag that goes out. I don't generate an awful lot of garbage, but, you know, this week there's kind of a lot. There's some packaging, different things that were used and whatever. And stuff that was, you know, could attract bugs or ants. It's summertime. This time of year, you know, it doesn't matter how clean your house is. This is a 100-year-old house. You know, you could end up getting, you know, 5 years ago, I had to put little red ant traps around. This stuff is gross for some people. The next door neighbor is a slob, and I've gotten other kind of bugs that I don't even want to mention that I had to kind of exterminate out. And occasionally I still see 1 or 2 of them. I spray bug spray down my drain at night because I think they come up through there from her house to my house or something. I don't know. Who knows what's going on in my basement? So I don't have a traditional garbage can per se. And if you put a plastic bag out in your backyard, you know, it's just going to get eaten by cats, chipmunks, and groundhogs or whatever. Especially in the summertime in 90-degree heat. And I would have to wait an entire week. Oh, man. I should have just put the stuff out. But then I didn't want to put it out yesterday because it was like 90 degrees, and I figured this thing for 2 days, it would have gotten eaten overnight by critters. Oh man, I don't know what to do. I don't need this kind of aggravation. I'm gonna have to take like a chill pill or something, and that's probably gonna be worse than eating food. Mess up my metabolism. I'm gonna have to do it because I'm too stressed. I'll go over there and I'll have a blood pressure will be like out the roof. I'll see what my blood pressure is just for the hell of it. Match it to what I get. I have one of these manual blood pressure things. You're supposed to keep it above your heart when you take it. Let's see here. Working. My blood pressure is 92/62. Can you see that? Let's see. 99/62, and my heart rate is 52. I guess some people would consider that. I guess that's not bad, actually. Considering. If I can maintain that, you could see the shirt dangling there. Everything you know is wrong. The one that nobody's purchased. My bandana. This bandana is actually the thing I'm going to wear over there as the mask. Whether they like it or not, Now I'm just going to put it down here. Yeah, I got medical problems. I'm also going to see if my stomach... Of course, my stomach was kind of upset even in the middle of the night. And of course, at that point, I still hadn't eaten as I woke up at like 10 or 11, some people were still blasting off fireworks. So that was still 7 to 8 hours of not eaten, and I still was having an upset stomach. So I still question whether or not this isn't really a heartburn situation, especially since I didn't have anything crazy before I went to bed. I laid in bed as long as I could. I went to bed last night around 7 something. So, and I crawled out of bed this morning at 5. So, but I was up a few times, but I mean, technically I've gotten about 8 hours of sleep. All right, that's enough of that, I think it's time to get back into the program. And here's what I need. I've got to get this guy to give me a prescription too for these pills that I take that help me sleep, right? Believe me, you don't want to be me. Trust me. I do all this stuff, I don't make any money on it. On my list. I was saying yesterday, it's so bad. You can't even see my face. See my soul patch. All of the temporary fillings that I had put in my mouth are gone. So they were like, forget that. My whole mouth. So I can't even, I have my list. Rolaids is one of the items on my little shopping cart list that I make. But I can't chew a Rolade because my teeth are so bad. I can't get a dentist. Poor, pitiful me, right? Tissues, baggies. I use baggies to take the cat litter out and tie them into a knot. It seems to be the most efficient way. Peanuts for the chipmunk, to keep the chipmunk from eating my tomatoes. It costs like $1 a bag or so. I think they raised the price. It's like $1.50 now. They last over a month or so. Garlic, I'm out of that. Maybe I'll get some yogurt. I don't know. For the since I had been taking Rolaids and Tums, the yogurt might help with my gut health. And then some kind of fiber thing. And I don't know if broccoli contains fiber or not. All right. But anyway, I really wanted to use the iPhone today to go over some of the absurdities of what's happening. Because there's some really crazy, well, I'll just say crazy shit going on. And I watch YouTube, so I don't, it's not like I watched the nightly news, but I did watch the YouTube, not watch it, but span, scroll past the morning YouTube, right before I started the show, the YouTube, feeds their various title cards. And on those title cards, you see all the posers, like, posing about something, They're YouTube millionaires, the people that make a living on YouTube. And then somehow these poses, what I can't figure out. I mean, I really can't figure it out. What I don't know is how people fall sucker to that, right? It's like, they're posers. I mean, it's clickbait. I thought clickbait, like if you did clickbait, that was like illegal or something, against their terms of service. What's wrong with this thing? It's like hiding my stuff. And I was trying to show the great solar stuff thing, which I'm finding it impossible to put anywhere. So I think I'm just going to cover, the old Mac still having that problem. The mirror lies type of deal. So screw it. Great solar stuff over there. This shirt and this git fiddle. Let's see if we can. It's a pain. I try and I try. I had a song where I said that, I try and I try and I try, and it doesn't work. So this is annoying too. Today's one of those annoying shows. Nobody wants to watch an annoying show. Do you guys want to laugh for a second? Okay, here. I'll give you a little bit of this.
This is really funny. Really funny. What do you mean I'm funny?
Hey, you're funny, man. You're just funny, and I'm funny too. So, I'm having a set problem. Okay, it's a set problem. And I don't have a movable camera, right? So I'm moving my computer. And as you can see, there's some books, and it's an old bookshelf, and there's some garbage there, and here's the thing that is the beret that I wear sometimes. Let's see if this changes anything. Everything you know is wrong wants to shoot over. I gotta fix this. It's annoying. It's fucking annoying. Just like stay there. What? Alright. Everything you know is wrong. You can see the album. And we'll just put the beret there. You know, I guess that'll work. See if we do this. Watch, look at the back of my head. The morning show cereal, and we hung the beret, which actually might be better if it looked like that, and if this would stay there. How's that? You get the morning show. The guitar could be moved here, and everybody's happy. My fake glasses are falling down. These glasses are on the verge of breaking, and if they break, I can't see. Not only was I unable to get to a dentist, that's a nice beached whale look, you know, my back. This thing, I don't know. I mean, I really don't understand. I give up. I'm very frustrated. If people want to watch a frustrated guy in the morning, so I got to make a note. Garbage. Big question mark. See, if I was a man of means, and I am by no means, king of the road, ain't got no cigarettes. You know, when I used to smoke, that was a big deal, you know, man. You're out of cigarettes. Cigarettes and, you know, a six-pack and stuff like that, things like that. You'd sell stuff on eBay, you know. I sold a lot of CDs and a lot of different things on eBay just to get money for smokes. Back in the old days, you know. It's hard to believe. And then when you quit, you're like, why did I ever even smoke these things? Right? It's like strange. But man, the things you do to get, you know, to get a pack of cigarettes. You know? Sell a classic CD, you know, cheap. Weird stuff just to get cash. That's why I say people don't understand. I know what it's like to be broke. I also know what it's like to have more money than you know what to do with, too. You know. That's why I don't mind the situation I'm in now, because it's kind of, I did this myself, where I became, you know, a living below the poverty level. Because there's a certain freedom in that, and I have everything, like I said, I basically have everything I need, almost. And so, that said, you know, it's not that bad. And so, yeah, what a tragedy, the garbage man, you know. See, what I meant about being a man of no means or whatever, by no means, you know, they deliver just about everything today. And I bet you I could probably, if I had the money to waste, I could probably get same-day delivery of one of those plastic garbage cans things. Like, you call it a can, you think it's metal. But you know what I'm talking about, the plastic type ones. I don't think I guess they make the cans still. But I don't have one of those. Still getting gas, and I'm not even drinking caffeine. So much for that theory. Or carbonated beverages. It must be the placebo, effect. But at least I'll keep drinking water. Hopefully that'll help. So let's get back to the theme of this show. Or if there was a theme to the show. You don't really care about the weather, do you? Do you want to look at the weather?
The Weather Watch forecast.
Alright, in my neck of the woods, I'm going to see what this does to the CPU anyway. Every day is another discovery, you know. It's 73 degrees outside my studio. And it looks like it's going to get up to a high of 90 degrees. Overnight, 70 degrees. Wednesday, chance of thunderstorms, 88 degrees, 68 overnight. Thursday, chance of thunderstorms, 60%, 79, which means 80. Back in my garden area, it's like 90, 100. Greenhouse is 120. 66 overnight. Friday, 79, 61 overnight. And Saturday, 77. 64 overnight. So Saturday is looking like the night this coming weekend. So that's your
The Weather Watch forecast.
we got that out of the way. And so yeah, for people who deal with weekends, next weekend will be a good weekend for you. As for the next couple of days, they're going to be miserable if you're outside. That's why I like to go outside, usually around 10, 11-ish, before noon, lay in my lounge chair, water my garden, lay in my lounge chair, stake out the garden, make sure everything's copacetic, as they say. And, and get that vitamin D and reinforce keep my tan and, all that stuff. It's good. It's healthy for you, And in many ways, more so than just vitamin D and the immune system. It's like it's just good for your body. And yeah, I was out there yesterday, and I couldn't have been out there more than 5 or 10 minutes, and this woman next door started burning garbage. So I had to come in the house. Ruin my day. I don't have much in life. I have that, that's my thing. To go out and enjoy the sun and my garden. Now if she's gonna start burning shit every day, what am I gonna fucking do? Sit in the house? Just get fat, sick and die? I don't know. The fuck, man? I missed the garbage. It's a depressing day, and I gotta go to this doctor at 9 o'clock. It's 2 hours away. Fuck. So, try to get into some kind of subject. That's why I wanted to use the iPhone, because I wanted to show you the news, kind of, how the absurdity of these posers on YouTube, which is really what it is now. The networks, they're all using that. Have you really caught on to that thing? I mean, I don't do the Twitter, Facebook thing anymore, but I do post like a copy of a link to my thing. And it's actually getting cold in this room. So I'm going to have to turn that air conditioner off in a little bit. So what's happened is, I don't know if people know, that's what I'm saying. Tom Green was the first guy to say it, and it was like 6 months ago. He goes, "This is TV." And he was talking about YouTube. And it was just something he said in passing. The guy's funny. I haven't followed him lately. I don't know. He was going on all these travels out there with his dog in this van. It was souped up. He was making music and taking really cool photography, But be that as it may, check him out. You know, I don't know why he's not showing up in my recommended list on YouTube anymore to see if he's still doing it. But yeah, for me, you know, this is TV, and I just took it to a different level. You know, I took it to black and white. I figured, well, okay, yeah, it's TV, but let's put it in perspective. Let's go back to an era, a better time. You know, and that's where I am right now. You know, this is TV. YouTube is TV, and the networks, they know that because their ratings have tanked. I've said this 1,000 times before, but it's, you know, nobody watches the show, so they'll say it again. The ratings, if you took CNN, MSNBC, and Fox combined, there are times, most times, that they're reaching less than 1% of the population of the U.S. Let me say that again. If you take CNN, MSNBC, and Fox, okay, you know, those are the big cable channels that people watch, and those the polarity ones, right? You know, the red, blue, you know, left, right, you know, whatever. The fanatics watch those stations religiously, like all day long, okay? According to the official ratings, and you could verify this online, you know, the ratings are published. You know, these aren't secret, all right? Those 3 cable networks, I still don't understand why they call them networks necessarily, you know. I mean, you know, CBS is a network because you have a CBS affiliate, right? But you don't really have, you know, I mean, you have a Fox affiliate in a sense of, you know, the Fox Broadcasting Network. But Fox News is just Fox News, and that's not, that Fox affiliate is a local station. Do you understand? It's different than the whatever. There's a little bit of complication there that people don't understand. It's like somebody might carry CNN News, maybe, but it's not like it's a CNN affiliate, the same MSNBC affiliate. You know, it's not like a CBS affiliate, like your local CBS station doesn't, or NBC station is an MSNBC affiliate. It's an NBC affiliate. Okay, we got that out of the way. So these cable stations is what they are, all right? And these are the ones that the people sit and watch all day, right? And so they're sitting there glued to MSNBC. They watch every show back to back. They've got CNN on all the fucking time, right? They've got Fox on all the fucking time, right? Those 3 channels, okay, cable news channels, all right? This is fact. I've checked this repeatedly. I go back and forth, you know, looking at these numbers all the time. Those 3 combined reach, you know, on average, less than 1% of the U.S. population. Think about that. And they're fanatical stations, right? One way or the other, you know. And you know, it doesn't. I don't care who, you know, which one you watch, because you agree with me. You'll go, oh, those people over at Fox, they're fanatics. You know, they're right-wing extremists. You know, and people at Fox are going, those people over at MSNBC, they're whack lefty whack jobs, right? You know what I'm talking about. So they're extremists on both sides. That's why I say I'm not political anymore, because they're all fucking crazy. But the thing is, only 1% of the U.S. population, according to the ratings, watch those stations. So how do they have all this influence on everything, right? Well, they've moved to YouTube. Their clips, their memes, right? Their title cards, their posers, you know. And so if you want to know what, you know, if you want a snapshot of what's going on, all you have to do is look at YouTube and like the news, like layout. And I don't know if I can bring this up. Let me see if I can. If I can do this without crashing the browser, let's see. Because there's a thing here that says browser. So make source visible. I have no idea what that means. Okay, browser. Let's go to, I got to put in a URL. Let's put in http youtube.com. See what happens. Okay, here we go. Let's see if it comes up. All right. YouTube, good. And I'm not signed in. So that doesn't give me the ability to, let's see, like actually, damn. So in other words, it shows me the browser, but it won't let me interact with it. Son of a. Yeah. Well, so much for that. What I would have to do is, I guess I would have to find the page, and that's why I wanted to use the phone. All right. I would have to find pull up a thing. Let's see, a new window. Put YouTube in it. And then see if I can do this. See if this damn thing will work without stealing away just bear with me. I'm going to turn on the iPhone and see if it shoots the CPU way up again. It didn't do it the other day. I don't know why it would. The computer should be ice cold by now because I'm freezing my Canuckies off. It's warming up. Still have an excellent connection. CPU still seems to be fine. It's taking forever to warm the fuck up. Okay. No. Camera. Alright. This seems to be working so far. So. Patience. I have to turn the phone on. This is where the CPU might start acting up. Okay. So instead of me here, what I'm going to do is show you. I'm not going to look at myself. I'm just going to show YouTube. I mean, this is an experiment. Okay, so you can see here, she's obviously posing. I mean, Lauren Southern, I've watched her videos sometimes, and she's made some movies. I've watched them. Okay, but this is a pose. All right, breaking news. And these are all the various people from, from whatever. Everything from gardening to some guy saying, in what dreams may come is what dreams may come, that movie, an accurate movie. Okay? First thing lost to history. Letterpress printing. Actually, that's one of my videos from years ago. Let's see what I get. 3,500 views on there. Paul Joseph Watson, I watched that video. Hannah, and she's hot. She gets 139,000 views. She goes hanging around places and does stuff. The biggest myth of China's economy. You didn't know your Fire Stick could do this. Let's see what else we got here. COVID news, right? And notice how they cut it off with the ... They got it, data shows in ... So you got to click. That's clickbaiting you. Experts are worried about Florida's ... Do you see that? All right. Twit TV. This guy, I don't think he's ever said a truthful thing in his life. This guy's trying to say that now some kind of rates are up with like 25-year-olds or something. I mean, you know, it's getting more absurd as times go. That guy's not posing, right? Fox, news junkies. Look at this. Breaking news. Better sleep. We've moved. Those two people, I don't know. I'm starting to think they've got problems. I followed them for a while. Oh, this guy's the classic. Like, I followed this guy for a couple of years. Look, new Cummins 20K standby gen. All this guy does is buy things. He's like, you know, the classic YouTube millionaire. If he's not, I don't know where he's getting his money, but he's doing something crazy. Every video anymore is like him and his wife, like they've got new cars, new devices, new things. Right? Look at his stuff. I mean, even Rick Beto, you know, he's a cool dude, you know, and stuff. But look how he poses for his videos, right? Posers. The classic, you know, this guy. What happened here? Was this did he Epstein himself? Was that an Epstein thing? Yeah. She's not posing, right? He's not posing. I used to watch him like a year ago or so, but I mean, he's like the king of the poser thing. Look at this, military on high alert. Yeah, like right, yeah. Look at this stuff. All right, this is America. Okay? I mean, look at this stuff. Let me just see if I can get out of this thing. Is this a separate window? Yeah. Close. Okay. Stop. I'm back. Yeah, I'll tell you, man. So I'm going to turn this off. Just so it doesn't do anything, because the CPU was starting to jump up a little bit. You get the point. So these 1% of the population is actually watching these cable stations, right? And the networks, the traditional networks, it's pretty much the same deal, you know. There might be 10% people who watch like a big event or something like that, but 90% of the people, they're not. So what's everybody doing, and why is all of these issues like it's like the end of the world and everybody's all in a whirlwind about it? Well, it's because of what I just showed you, right? This is now TV, right? Here, you know, however, you know, this frame, okay? And so they put up these little teaser, clickbait, posed things. And the so-called amateurs are really, you know, making hundreds of thousands, if not what I call YouTube millionaires now, right? We just bought this new $20,000 thing. Here, I just got my wife this Jeep, you know, such and such SUV, cost 60 grand. And people are like Google-eyed about it, like, wow, right? Instead of being pissed off, right? It's like they're throwing. It would be like me here in your face, going, showing you, hey, look what I just got. I just bought, or here, I'm gonna take the phone, show you in front of my house. Look, I just bought this new sports car. Right? What kind of validity does that give me when I'm talking about the basic, collapse, the suffering of people, and the insanity of this organized crime syndicate that's taken over the world, and that the U.S. is the former U.S. and it's become a corporatocracy, and don't donate to any of these political people because they're all just puppets. And so these news media that only get 1% of the population on their TV shows have all moved here. This is TV, and they're all clickbaiting you, and they're all giving you these like short videos. That's why people don't watch me, because I'm long form video, so I get to explain something, in depth. Maybe another reason is because like the beginning of this show, there's always like a freaking disaster. But that's the way it is when you do it live. They don't have the nerve to do it live. So even though there are television stations that have broadcast live, they're rehearsed, they're scripted, they're controlled. There's people behind them. There's nobody here. It's just me in this room, and my cat, or was my cat. He's gone. I don't know where he got to. So they edit these short little, clips. They used to call them sound bites in the old days, in radio, but they're like video sound bites, video/sound bites. Edited together, and then they create this meme, because that's what a title card on YouTube is. It's like a meme, a clickbait meme, and they put this up. And half the people don't even click. There's the cat. He's on the floor. Half the people don't even click on these things. That's the thing. It's clickbait, and they don't even click. Right? Or if they do, they'll click and they'll just watch a couple of seconds of it. People have the attention span of a goldfish. They watch for like 6 seconds. And then they believe whatever it is to be the gospel truth. It's like that goofball I showed you was, that guy from England, talking about, people, 25-year-olds getting this thing now or something like that. And then this new stuff, right? And then these events that happen that they just milk for week after week, even though they're tragedies, and I don't discount that. Life could be tragic, not can be. Life is tragic. You have small tragedies and major tragedies. I've experienced them all, right? I've said this before. Death in the family, cancer diagnosis I've had. Those are the big ones, I can't even eat now. My mouth doesn't work anymore. The chronic pains in my stomach. And then little things like I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do with my garbage for this week. For a week when it's going to be 90 degrees for the next couple of days, and I don't have a garbage can. All I have is a plastic bag. Where am I going to put it? It's like if it's not one thing, it's another. And so the point of the matter is, whether it's like a tragedy of some, death, disease, or just the ongoing, poking and prodding at you, like the hornet's nest thing, that's life today, and that's life. But not for these people, No idea what that is. It's like a tank going down my street. And so, it just gets you. When they talk about, that the majority of people are functionally illiterate. That's another statistic like you can look up. Remember we looked that up if you're anybody who's followed the show, we actually found that on on a government site that the term functional illiteracy and functional literacy was actually a study done by it was like a government agency site. We went to that. It's like none of this stuff I say is, like I always say, everything you get here is firsthand. That's why I went through the trouble of trying to figure out how to look at the YouTube thing that way. Because I want you to see what I'm talking about firsthand. I want you to take it secondhand. But the problem is these memes are secondhand. Third hand. When things go viral, sometimes it's thousand hands. It's just been passed along by people who didn't even read it. They just saw, the picture of Biden, a picture of Trump, a picture of the unspeakable thing that just won't go away, right? Like, I'll go to the doctor today and they'll say, "Did you get your thing yet?" And I'm like, it's like, "Hey man, what are you talking about? Something happened a couple of years ago?" I'll just like look in his face. I hope I don't snap on the fucker. But I have to be like nice to him because I want him to I have to make sure I get my prescription. So the theme of this show was like kind of with my meme, which wasn't, obviously nobody's posing there. It was just money. All right. And it's not clickbait. I tell you right there. It just says money, and it's about money. And I'm talking about small businesses in collapse. And this is matter of factual things. This isn't like some, something to get you to watch, because I don't get monetized. See, if 1 million people start watching my show, I will make nothing. YouTube will make a fortune on ads. I won't. I'm demonetized. They refuse to let me be monetized. And even though I talk about TonyCaravanLive.com and great solar stuff and all the things that I have, and I offer to people to help them out in their lives and to communicate to people, you don't know what you don't know, to try to get into people's heads and wake them up. Everything you know is wrong. Nobody buys any of that stuff. Nobody listens to my music, so it wouldn't matter. So I'm a straight shooter. I'm just going right at you. I'm just trying to tell you the way it is. The fact of the matter is nobody wants to fucking work right now. And there are no jobs. And the jobs are never coming back. For like 50 million people. There are jobs, obviously. There's people out there working, right? We have a workforce of about over 150 million people. Okay? And we basically are teetering where we're going to lose about 50 million of those jobs. All right. And those jobs are jobs, they used to call this thing a trickle-down thing. I have to turn the air conditioner off. I'll be back in 10 seconds. Literally. I have to disconnect myself. Be right back. All right. It was great that I made this thing where I could just plug in without having to go through some major ordeal. The sound of that air conditioner was like outrageous now that it's off. It's like, see if it cooled down my CPU. Yeah, I'm cold. So anyway, people don't have trades. And over the past 20 or 30 years, this whole idea they wanted to turn college education. You see, everything's planned. It's like things don't just happen. Like there are no coincidences. Okay. Back in the 80s, they started this thing. The student loan idea, getting really loose with money. I mean, student loans go back to even earlier than that. But I mean, when they killed the S&Ls, the savings and loans, all right, in the 80s, and that was the first reset. They call this the Great Reset, what they're doing now. Well, the first reset was in the 80s. That's when when the economy switched, high gear into like a Wall Street, the Fed took a much bigger role in the economy. All right. Not that they haven't been since their inception and haven't, been at the heart of most of the problem. It's just that, but once the 80s came along, that was remember the movie Wall Street? So that was the gecko era. And the idea in the end where they tried to make, had gecko down, type of thing. The fact of the matter was the geckos in the 80s, those guys, they existed and didn't get caught, And what's going on now is gecko to the 10th power, because so many other new exotic things are going on in the world of finance that it's unbelievable. People don't even understand how people make money and what's going on and what's traded, how they trade, what money really is, right? It's these ledgers in the cloud and this whole concept of cryptocurrencies. When people used to talk about fiat currency, or they'd say it's paper money, it's not worth the paper it's written on. There goes another tank down my neighborhood. Yes, the military's coming in. So people didn't, what crypto took it to a whole new level because it's nothing, right? It's an algorithm. It's a solving an equation, right? And so so by the 80s, once Wall Street, so-called Wall Street, because it's not really all Wall Street, but once the finance, the central banking system, the global financial system was basically, put into place, and Davos got together, right? The World Economic Forum, the Davos set. Once they figured out, they had a clear-cut plan mapped out, then that was the beginning of the end of government. That was the end of government. And the corporatocracy took over at that point. And so we live now in a corporatocracy. And above these various countries are corporatocracies. Former Western civilization countries are corporatocracies. And when you combine those corporatocracies together, they're run by an organized crime syndicate. And that is the Davos set. What people see is the World Economic Forum. All right. There's no politics. There's no, there's no warring factions. There are no Russians. There are no communist Chinese. There are no, terrorists, right? They're all like pieces on a board game to this organized crime syndicate. If the Davos set wants to end terrorism in some place, they can squash it out with the snap of a finger. All right? These people aren't just kingmakers. They're in control of the world. And see, the average person doesn't understand that. They don't understand the power that these people wield and have wielded for decades. No war happens unless they want it to happen. Right? No major event happens unless it's allowed to happen. Right? You try breaking the mold and they come down on you. You're done. They go after you. Right? You try turning on them, or you the potential of exposing them, and then you're basically Epsteined. Okay? Now, this is in front of everybody's eyes, but they don't want to see it. And so anyway, but we're talking about the student loan thing first, just to lead into the employment thing and how money and how things collapsed, and will collapse even way beyond what you're even thinking. And the valuelessness of what we call money today. Well, anyway, when students are going to college and getting some kind of degree, in other words, they turn college into a business. And I don't mean business colleges, I mean college as a business, a source of revenue, right, for the corporatocracy, and the central bankers. And so the idea is that, okay, let's everybody go to college. Everybody needs to go to college. Your sons and daughters have to go to college. That's opportunity. They'll get a good job, a good paying job. They'll be a productive member of society. Right? As if they haven't spent, their entire youth up to age 18 in these indoctrination camps that we call schools. Yeah. How much time do you really need to learn the basics? Well, about 6 years. Right? So they waste the entire youth, youth is wasted in these indoctrination centers that condition them and program their bioelectric brains to prepare them for this insanity that ensues at age 18. And so they all started going to college. And they all anybody could go to college. You just if you don't have if you're poor, you get a grant. But if you're if you're in that little middle zone, we'll give you a student loan. And those student loans could be anywhere from $20,000, $30,000, $50,000. Some people are sitting, some professionals are sitting on hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loans. Well, the professionals have much greater chance of paying those off because, they'll make 6 and 7 figures. But everyone else is haunted by these things. And so right now you've got a vast majority of people who have student loans that just keep filling out this paperwork and prolonging the inevitable, pushing it back. That's how it works. That's how the system works right now. That's what's going on. And so these are the people living with their parents. This is how the Peter Pan society created. This is why you always see young people out on the streets protesting and doing things, because they're not working. And like I was saying, when I was doing, balancing the register for this guy who was out of town because his employees were inept, not that they weren't necessarily trustworthy, they were just inept at basic things. Well, that's how it is all over the country, man. People don't know anything. And so now what they're doing is they're taking places like restaurants and small shops and all these other things, and they're not coming back. They're making it impossible for the small businessman. And see, I don't know if you remember this, because people don't really pay attention to things. That's another problem, the attention span of people. But it's been spoken on every financial network for years after year after year that the major employer, most people in the United States, the major employers in the U.S. were small businesses. Well, small businesses are all going out of business. So if they're the major employers, they've been the major employers in the U.S., and small businesses are dropping like flies and not coming back and being replaced by all these, conglomerates, Walmarts, Amazon, right? The box store concept, right? Then the majority of jobs are vanishing, and they are vanishing, and they're not coming back. And people are saying, well, Walmart has to hire people. No. Well, Amazon has to hire people. They're hiring people. I know they are. I mean, they just hired 1,000 people. Look, they're using robots that respond to barcodes in their warehouses to basically do most of the fulfillment of orders. Everything is being roboticized. Okay? You try talking to customer service and you get a chat bot. All right. And and when the humans are involved, like I've used some of these delivery services and stuff, every single order, and I do use them because I don't drive. Every single order I've gotten, there has been human error. So forget about computer error. Right. Send me somebody else's order, somebody else's bag. Didn't send me this product I ordered. Refund, they're good at, they won't cheat you. We refunded you. We didn't deliver that. The person didn't do it. Yeah, they didn't feel like carrying a case of 24 bottles of water. Right? The whole reason why I use the service is because I don't feel like carrying it. But I'm paying a fee to them to carry it. You see? That's the whole idea. But anyway, so there's these menial jobs that these people have delivering stuff now. And of course in some areas they're experimenting with these drones delivering for Amazon and stuff like that. I personally don't think that's going to become ubiquitous. I think that'll be seen in limited areas where it's practical. It's the same thing with self-driving cars. You can have a self-driving car on a major thoroughfare. It's the same with eventually they may have these self-driving 18-wheelers. Well, Teamsters aren't going to be too happy about that. But that's fine along Interstate 80. Or 40, right? Or 10. Outside of where they have these ridiculous, like cloverleaf type of, places where various interstates, where you go from one to the other and, you have to go around these circles to get wherever. I don't trust the self-driving cars on those. All right? But these long hauls, as they used to call them, guys who drove trucks, the long haul routes, yeah, they could be self-driving, because it's almost ridiculous in a sense because it's the automotive industry that's pushing this because they want to sell vehicles, because the idea of most self-driving cars will be on the long hauls and the major, like I say, major thoroughfares, the easy roads. You're not going to drive a self-driving car down some alley that twists and turns and is unpredictable, you see. And so the answer is, the simple answer is mass transportation. You know, I've said it all along. They should take, highways like 80 and 40, and down the median, as they call it, they should just put a high-speed rail lines right down the middle. They've already has this wide grassy knoll, so to speak, right? And the bridges are already there, right, above it. So they should just, if that's what you want to do, just do that. But see, then they can't. Then the companies, the corporatocracy, the pressure from the automotive industry is not going to profit from that. So, in the grand scheme of things, facts are simple. The major corporatocracy box stores, so to speak, the big companies, the multi-billion-dollar companies, are going to become more and more automated, roboticized. I've talked about they have factories already that don't require any human interaction whatsoever. If you don't believe me on that, just look it up. Like I saw it on the History Channel like 20 years ago. That's how long they've been working on this process, this thing. Like they make like fluorescent light bulbs. It's an entire factory. It's the unbelievable size of any huge factory you would see, and the entire thing is just a machine. The factory is a machine, basically. Raw materials are delivered at one end, and out the other end come these packaged box things, and trucks just come and pick them up and ship them. No humans are involved in the process, And that's where we're heading. So what are you going to do with these 50 million unemployed people? Oh, we're going to give them a guaranteed such and such income. And they've tested this in certain areas, some countries in Europe, and even in the U.S., I believe there's 1 or 2 experiments going on. And they give people like $1,000 or something like that a month. Like it's like a stipend or something. But the thing is, I could live on $1,000 a month, and I do. But the average person can't. Before I figured out all this, and I share it with you, if you watch my videos and you go back and watch my videos, you could piece together the nuggets. Maybe I'll do a show where I explain completely the whole thing, and I'll write it all, in other words, tell you exactly how I'm doing it. But the idea is, in most markets, and even for myself, prior to my doing this and figuring this out and putting my mind into being able to live at this so-called poverty level and live well, all right, sans the plastic garbage can, which I guess I'm going to have to fucking get. Man, that pisses me off. My rent was almost $1,000 a month. All right? People living in places like New York and stuff like that, that's what it costs to live. And there's like people in their 30s, 20s and 30s and some, and they're like living like friends now, where they're sharing, 4 people sharing an apartment or something, so they're each paying $1,000 or something for a $4,000 apartment. Or a $3,000 apartment, they're paying $8 something or whatever. But the thing is, time flies. You get older. And the older you get, and you have relationships, you have privacy things, and this, that, the other. And it gets old after a while. It gets old after a while. Right? And so as this society ages, and it's aging, and I'm not talking about the people already over 50. I'm talking about the people in their late 30s and 40s who are still the Peter Pan culture, right? They're not going to be wanting to have roommates when they turn 50, right? And then they've got these, they have no equity, like through their life, their jobs. So they haven't like built any Social Security income, and they push the Social Security age way back, like to 70 or something like that, right? Which will eventually coincide with the mortality rate, the age that people die, so they won't have to pay. That's how they're going to end Social Security, not by a bill in Congress. Social Security will just end naturally. They just push the age back so far that through probability and statistics, that the majority of people will die before they reach the age where they can receive Social Security or get more out of it than the system can pay out. That's how they saw. That's they've been working on that for like basically 2 decades. They figured out how the Social Security works. So yeah, they killed that off. That's done. And this generation, you don't have a job, you didn't pay into Social Security, well, you don't get it, right? You're not going to Social Security check, $300 a month. You can't do anything with that, right? And you don't get it until you're like 71 or something, or 69, whatever. It's like, what good's that going to do you? Your body starts falling apart in your 50s. But people don't know that. And these people out there like running for life and trying to go into gyms and all that stuff, they're just wearing out their bodies. They're just wearing out their bodies. They don't even understand that. The whole health industry. See, it's a health industry. They're just trying to make money off you while you just basically wear out your body. See, people don't get it. The corporatocracy is very well organized. They know exactly what they want to do. And they answer to an organized crime syndicate who doesn't give a shit about you or anything. You're just cattle to them. All right? When you serve a purpose, and as long as you serve a purpose, then, you're given a gilded cage, so to speak. The moment you no longer serve a purpose, you're just, they don't care about you. And now they're throwing all these diseases out because there's too many people. There's almost 8 billion people on the planet. And the ruling elite, the Davos set, when you put all them together, the major players, they only number in the thousands. That's like the same. It's like in America. What do you think's going on here? So the next move, so that's why they become authoritarian, right? It's a totalitarian state. Becomes more militarized because you've got people all over the place and they don't know what to do with them. And so, what are they going to do? Give you give you $1,000? Well, what are you going to do with that? Look at the price of lumber. Look at the inflation that's going on right now. It's runaway inflation, the cost of things. Then you got guys like Bill Gates being like the single, largest owner of farmland in the U.S. I'm not too crazy about the idea of him owning potential farmland for food. So there's some crazy things going on right now, and a lot of people just don't see it. They're blind to it. They just look at this, clickbait on YouTube, which has become TV. You know, that's really what it is. And other social media, because they, people who are into Facebook and are into Twitter, the meme thing, that whole game, it's the same game. It's just played a little bit different, right? But it's the same game, same result, right? Same rules are at play. It's the corporatocracy. It's a money grab. And they don't know what to do with people. There's too many people. There's too many people in the U.S. and there's too many people on the planet as far as they're concerned. And that's why they're trying to kill us off. It's plain and simple. It's scary as hell. And this cryptocurrency thing, central bankers, they're getting into it. And once they get into it, it's a whole new ball game. When they get their filthy hands on stuff, it's not going to be what you think it is. I told people like last month, I said cash out when it was up to like 65, when Bitcoin was at 65,000. I don't know what Bitcoin is now. Let's just look for the sake of it. I always like to be accurate when I talk about things. Let's see. Price of Bitcoin. One Bitcoin equals $33,900 right now. And when I told people to sell, it was like something like $65,000. Right, almost. So it's almost a lot cut in half. So if you even were a person that just had a couple of Bitcoin, right? Say you had 3 Bitcoin. You almost lost $100,000. You just let slip right out of your hand. Should have sold it. But it's going to go up. I've had people say that. It'll be up to 100,000. No, it won't. No, it won't. Once the Fed and the central banks start doing their thing, it's going to be a whole different ballgame. And that's why a lot of people have cashed out. That's why the price goes down. The price goes down. It's how markets work. Same with stocks. Stocks go up and down depending on whether or not people buy it or sell it. People start selling a stock, the price goes down. It doesn't go up. People start buying it, the price goes up. People are selling Bitcoin right now. Right? Price is cut. It's like, dropped in half in just over a month. And it's like the gambling, gambler. Well, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna roll the dice one more time. I'm gonna pull the one-armed bandit slot machine one more time. Put another $0.25, in. I'm just going to play, roulette. Put some money on black or red one more time. And then they lose. Because the game's rigged. All right? The bank always wins. The case of the casino's the bank. All right? In the case of the corporatocracy, the central bankers are the banks. That's the bank. The Fed is the bank. Right? And above all them is the international crime syndicate, which they call the World Economic Forum, the Davos set. All right? The ruling elite, these are the people, right, who are putting in the Great Reset. You can look that up on the internet. They have a website. It's an economic reset. That's basically what they're resetting. They're resetting the way the world economies are run. And so that was my motivation 5 to 7 years ago, to basically buy a piece of property where my mortgage, taxes, and insurance are under $200 a month, and that I could literally live on $1,000 a month and live a decent quality of life, right? Apart from any health issues, which are inevitable. The older you get, you have health issues. The human body is, has problems. Some people are fortunate or whatever, but you cannot control it. You can't trust the food, the water. I mean, there's weed killers. I got a neighbor who's probably poisoned, giving me cancer for all I know. They advertise these things. There's weed killers out there that have been proven carcinogens. There's law firms on television telling you about it. There's settlements. If you've been exposed to such and such, contact a law firm of. Right? They still sell this stuff in box stores. Proven to cause cancer. There's settlements on it. Why is it still for sale? Right? It's like the FDA. Right? How many drugs have you seen advertised on TV, and 2 years later you see a law firm having a commercial saying, if you took such and such, the drug such and such, right, then you are eligible for compensation. Well, why would you trust anything the FDA does when you see those commercials on TV basically every day? And why isn't the network television that runs those ads held responsible? Because they got lobbyists, because they have political influence, because it's a corporatocracy. It's not a government. And too many people still believe that there's some kind of government here. They don't understand this is the former United States. The former United States. Western civilization has already fallen. There's no build back better. There's no save America. If you want to save yourself, get your act together, and that's what my broadcasts are all about. Like I said, I don't make any money on them. I wish I did. Well, I don't really care if I did, actually, to be honest with you. Right now, I wish I had a way of getting a plastic garbage can. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to wrap my garbage up in that means I got to waste money on more trash bags, but I'm going to have to try to get these 30-gallon trash bags and triple bag my garbage and put it in my little tiny back porch where I could hardly even move. And hope that thing's not totally, insulated from, the door to the backyard from that is not, it's not hermetically sealed, and I've got to hope that's not going to attract bugs which eventually get into my house. The fuck were they doing? Usually the way the garbage thing works is when there's a national holiday, they always set it back one day. I can't fucking believe this, man. And they don't communicate with you anymore. You go to their website and they don't even tell you anything anymore. I'm comfortable on chair. And I still got to kill all this time till I go to this frickin' doctor and have an argument with him, and he probably won't give me the prescription I want. And I'll probably pass out from not eating for 24 hours. And you say, well, that doesn't sound right. Yeah, well, you don't have cancer. You haven't had cancer, kidney surgery, AFib, right? Bouts where you've passed out and things like that. It's not that simple. And that's kind of at the heart of what I'm trying to tell you. When you turn 50, there's this whole series of things that, there's a checklist your doctor, if you have a doctor, they tell you these are the things you need to do when you turn 50. And there's a whole long list. And from that time on, you can eat healthy. And these people eat organic, or they're vegans and vegetarians, or they're carnivorous, whatever the heck the latest thing is. And for every story of somebody saying, hey, look at me, I'm eating this and I'm feeling great, there's another story of somebody whose face is filled with acne and they're sick to death. Right? Take a look on YouTube. Right? The fact of the matter is, it's genetics. I have an 87-year-old mother who's, the only reason that is not neither a vegan, never worked out, and is no health freak. It's genetics. Some people, and that's the thing that's got people all crazed. But one thing I want to get back to this gym and this exercise and crazy idiocy that people do is, you need to move around, you need to walk, you need to get your, you need to exercise in a sense of living, not sitting on a couch watching TV all day long. Yeah, you can, and eating Oreo cookies. Okay. But that also means just getting up, walking around, even just doing housework or walking, to the store or doing something. That's exercise. That's human exercise. And all this organic stuff, this FDA, you can't trust them. It's like they say something. Do you know they can say something is pure and it's not really pure? You didn't know that, did you? See, you should research that stuff. It'll say pure honey, and it's not really pure honey, right? There might be high fructose corn syrup in it. It'll say pure this, or it'll say organic, but it doesn't really mean it's like organically grown, truly organically grown. It's like there's stipulations and there were negotiations made by Big Ag, right, with the FDA. Deals are made, and they have something called the revolving door. You work for the FDA, then you get a job working for some big agricultural company. It's the same with high tech. It's the same with the finance industry. You work at the Treasury Department, and then you end up getting a job working for a Wall Street firm. And then people working for Wall Street firms get a job working at the Treasury. Treasury, the Secretary of the Treasury right now is the former Fed chairman. It's right in your face, man. You don't see it. It's a corporatocracy. The government is an illusion. Elections are frauds. It's an illusion, right? It's like I was trying to tell about the 4th of July and fireworks. Fireworks have to do with the War of 1812, Francis Scott Key, the bombs bursting in air. It has nothing to do with the frickin' 4th of July, which was independence from England Day. Taxation without representation. I didn't see anybody talking about that, right? Or against edicts from a king, right? Instead, that's all we have now are edicts. Sunny, hot. I gotta walk to the grocery store, assuming this doctor even gives me a prescription, and I've got to tell him he's got to make sure they give it to me the same day. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So what does it all mean? Well, it doesn't mean anything, What do I do? Well, you just live your life. You try to be happy. You do something. I do this. I'm just sharing this information with you. Like I said, I don't make any money on it. So I'm just giving you some free advice. Basically what this is. It's free advice. And I watch the thing back. Sometimes I laugh at myself when I do some of the humorous things, like
You got a rattlesnake inside your house. You got a rattlesnake inside your house.
There's just one in here?
Yeah, I hope.
I hope. Like tattoos thing there. But other than that, you know.
I've resigned. I will not be pushed, filed, stamped, indexed, briefed, debriefed, or numbered.
Other than that, I've resigned. So yeah, you just got to find something in life and live through it and expect that you're going to still get shot down and still have these, things like me. I thought I had it figured out. Okay, I'll go out in the backyard, lay in my lounge chair, catch some rays and breathe in this beautiful fresh air because I've got all this growth out there in my yard. And I end up having some lady burning, put her idea of burning trash is to throw the plastic bag and every packaging and plastic thing and whatever, and who knows what kind of carcinogens in, and all this smoke is coming over into my place. So it's like so much for that, right? Or the garbage guys don't follow the rule they've been following for the past 7 years that I've been here or whatever. Or you order something and you get the wrong thing, or it doesn't show up, or it's delayed. Those are the little things. And then there's the big things. Like get a cancer diagnosis. Or you have to do this, that, the other. Yeah, so, you just do the best. You gotta keep positive. Survive. I just want to get this doctor's appointment fucking over so I could buy some beer and drink, really. Come back, eat some food and drink. Yeah, thing just came up. I just got 2 notifications on my screen. One says garbage day now. And the other one says doctor's appointment, blood test. I'll tell you. And my CPU usage keeps going up, which I don't know. And that's another thing. This cloud service with software too, and computers, you can't keep up with them. These phones, they're expensive. And so that's another thing. I don't know what people are going to be doing about that. I'm curious. They say, like I say, you got 50 million people unemployed. And even if they decided to somehow give these people free money, which I can't imagine them really doing, but they could, because there is no such thing as money. That's why I've got the title card out there that's not clickbait. I mean, there is no money, the Fed creates money out of thin air. Like they say, they used to print it when it's, you consider the dollar bill is printed. They just print money. But now they're getting into crypto, or they're getting into just ledgers in the sky. They just basically, transfer this amount, these numbers, into a ledger, overnight into a bank, and the bank has this. It's like that concept of your mortgage is basically it's your money that you in other words, they're not loaning you the money for your mortgage. Technically, your mortgage is giving the bank the money that they use for the mortgage, right? And that idea that they can loan out 10 times the amount of money they have on their ledgers. There's a name for that. I forget what it is, and it's not worth getting into. But you know what I'm talking about if you're into finance. So it's all one big game. But it's a game that's changing drastically. And the scariest part of this game was the wild card that we didn't have up to this point was these bioweapons. And there's nothing else. I don't know what else to call them. And that's what people have to be afraid of, you know? Because if they can't afford or they don't want to, you know, pay people, you know, or create jobs, and people don't have trades. It's like I say this every day. You can't have an infrastructure bill that's going to rebuild roads, bridges, highways, rails, and all that stuff at the same time as you have a Green New Deal that's basically eliminating carbon-based fuels, when all the equipment to build the railways, fix the roads and all that stuff, the bridges, runs on heavy equipment that uses carbon-based fuels exclusively. You know, I mean, these are things you only find on my show, and I tell you these things, and people are like, duh, right? And then they donate money to some campaign, and that money they donate to the campaign goes to a television network and makes some announcer get a raise. And and it puts a commercial on TV. And like I said 1,000 times, when was the last time you saw a political commercial from the opposition party, so to speak, that suddenly changed your mind? Oh, wow. Yeah, what a good commercial that is. I'm not voting for such and such. I'm going to switch my vote. Nobody does that. Well, what about the people in the middle, the independents? The independent thing, whenever you hear them talk about that is the biggest myth, of all. This is a red, blue, left, right country. There is no middle ground. There's nobody on the fence. Functionally illiterate people falling for nonsense, for propaganda, because they've been indoctrinated as children, conditioned throughout their entire life. They're sitting on student loan bills with degrees that there are no jobs for, and they have no trades. And that was what I was trying to say about the 80s. They tried to make people think, go to college, because these people got rich on all these loans, and all these people on the boards of trustees at universities, right, got wealthy, for decades over this. And meanwhile, they've got all these people out here that can't do anything. And they made it seem like being a plumber is a bad thing, or being an electrician is a bad thing, or being a carpenter is a bad thing, or being a mechanic is a bad thing, or it's a lower, they put their nose up to you like, oh, that's not a good thing. Society doesn't function if you don't have somebody that knows how to basically put a building together. If somebody can't fix your pipes, if they can't fix the electric, all right? If you can't build a brick wall, a chimney, or whatever, if you don't know how to, make a road, weld, right? Those are the most important things in society. Yes, societies need scientists and physicians and people like that, of course. All right. Architects. But you need more people who have trades, who can do physical things, who actually know how to do something. And so America fell apart, collapsed, and I mean that like in the past tense. It's not like it's already happened. It's imploding, further, because nobody knows how to fix anything or do anything anymore. And when I say nobody, it's a generalization, of course. There are people, plenty of people, millions of people, but we have 330 million people in this country. So it doesn't matter if you've got millions of tradespeople. That's not enough. It's just not enough. It's a big country with hundreds of millions of people. And there are 50, maybe 100 million people who don't know what the fuck to do with their hands. People don't know how to cook. The only thing they do is buy a frozen pizza and put it in a microwave. If there's a grid down situation, they're completely lost. They spend their whole time messing around with the stupid smartphone, playing games, watching network television, repeat some kind of crazy ass story to divert you from reality. Yeah, it's nuts, man. It's crazy. So, this was an interesting show. Interesting beginning, I'll tell you that. Panic. I could not believe, man. That's my problem about the garbage. But anyway. Behind me over here is my book Codex. I'm tired of saying this stuff. Buy my book. Get it on Amazon. It's an interesting book. It'll open your mind to things. It's a book that like poses questions, and it's got some flow of consciousness, and it tell you, if you're interested in who I am, there's a little flow of consciousness that talks about some of my adventures in the hospital. But other than that, like I say, I also got stacks of books and CDs, music and stuff that I've written. And as I've said before, never got me a blue chip or a blue check mark on Twitter. Though I've written more books and more songs than most. So anyway, yeah, everything I have is out there. You buy my hard copy, print copy of my book on Amazon. You can get it on Kindle, but the print editions are always better. Then you have something. One way or another, we're going to get hit with either a CME or a micronova within the next 10 years, man. I'm telling you. You can forget about you're going to want a hard copy of everything. I've got music, 50 songs. And you could ask your favorite little, voice thing, Echo Dot or whatever. Say, play the music of Tony Caravan. You listen to my music for 2 hours. Hey, some of it's good, some of it's not. I'm like anybody else, I've had, some crappy songs when I was starting out, but I've got some great music. Not all my books are good, but some of them are. But everything's affordable, And these shirts, you don't know what you don't know, get one. You mess with somebody's mind. Everything you know is wrong, that shirt up here, right? This solar stuff, great solar stuff. That's the sign. You can't see it here, but, I've got all these devices. If you go to my site, TonyCaravanLive.com, check it out. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And